John Buteraba, good morning.
Morning, Brian.
I last saw you on Kickstart.
Yep.
When you were literally panel beating those entrepreneurs.
Really? Yeah.
But one of the guys who was there, and you know, I eliminated him and I felt so bad.
You were the bad guy.
Yes, I was a bad guy. He met President Obama.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I was so proud of him. And I remember him, I think he was trying to develop chemical stuff, like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was
the chemist guy.
At the Global Entrepreneurship Summit.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him there. Newton, entrepreneurship is one of the issues the whole world.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is one of the issues. Morning viewers, I'm called Newton Buteraba from Enterprise Uganda. I work as an information system specialist. I'm also an entrepreneurship trainer. I'm very glad to be hosted by you, Brian, and the whole entire NTV. Yeah, we are going to share about the habits of successful entrepreneurs. If you notice, there was a research which was done way back by a Harvard professor called McClelland. And he moved around the world. And actually, he noticed that for all the successful entrepreneurs, it wasn't about the background. It wasn't about the money the parents left. It wasn't about the schools they went to. It was about their habits. So I'm glad to introduce to you that one of the habits actually all successful entrepreneurs set out to do is goal setting. As I was waiting to be mic'd up just down there, I was reading the vision of this entire organization called NTV, and it was to be the most viewed, most trusted TV channel for Uganda on Uganda. Now that's a vision. So whoever set out to start up NTV must have like laid back, relaxed, thought about, because when you visualize, that's when you can come up and set a goal.
Right.
Now NTV wants to be the most viewed and most trusted TV channel. That's the vision. Now, you could help that vision by now setting a goal. Now, when you set a goal, that's when you bring in things like measurable, specificity, achievability, relevance, and time-boundness. So, for NTV to know that actually, right now, we are the most viewed.
Yeah.
It has to do with numbers. You see? So, that's when they will go and say, how can we know that? Let's increase the number of marketeers. Let's give out TV, these digital set boxes. Now, when they do that, they are trying to tap into the vision. So successful entrepreneurs, wherever they are, they set up goals.
Right.
They don't start anything.
You don't just wake up and say, boom, I'm here.
No.
Let's do this.
That's why. You see, when you set up a goal, it is specific. People wake up and say, I want to be rich. Let me tell you of a story of a friend of mine called Kamau. This guy, every time he prays, he was asking God, I want a job. I want to get a lot of money. I want a big car. And I want to be surrounded by very beautiful women. That was his goal. And lo and behold, God answered his call. He's now a driver in a girls' school. You get the idea? In a girls' school. And what happens?
What a goal.
When you're in a girls' school, you're driving a bus, which is a big car. And you're surrounded by girls who are actually beautiful young girls, you see? And that is a job. So until you ask God that, I want a Mercedes-Benz. There are very many Mercedeses, but you say, I want an MG. The brain starts walking towards that. I want 20 million Ugandan shillings. I want 200 million Ugandan shillings.
Right.
So the brain starts walking in that direction. When you don't do that, everything leads you anywhere. That's why you see they come and tell you, let's deal into maize. And you put money into maize. Let's go into boda boda. You buy boda boda. That is all because you didn't set a goal. When you set a goal, you're specific on what you want, and God will give you that.
Why is it hard to set these goals for entrepreneurs? Or okay, we set the goals, but it's, you know, are we too ambitious? Like for example, I want to drive, you know, you know, the cross-country. But when you look at how, I was trying to. When you look at the amount of money you earn.
Yep.
Are we so ambitious that we dream outside our ability?
No, you never have to worry. The goal, the vision has to be that huge.
Right.
But when you start writing that goal, there is an area, because a goal has to be SMART. S-M-A-R-T. And the S is for specific. Where do you want to get that money?
Yeah.
Is it from border? Is it from selling hardware? Then it has to be measurable. How many bags do you want to sell if it's border? If it's a hardware, it has to be achievable. Achievability is when you think about the past vis-a-vis the present, then you forecast in the future. Now that's achievability. That's why you can't say, my vision is to drive an ML class, but you don't even have a job.
Yeah.
And you say you want that by next year. Then you're going to push your brain into robbery. You're going to have to rob a bank. You're going to have to take your dad's title and
to beat the deadline.
Exactly, to beat the deadline. So when you reach that part A for achievability, that's when you start now thinking about the past. Do I have a job? Have I been earning this money? Have I been making these sales? Then you think about the present. Now the dollar rate is high, the pound rate is high, maybe the people are not paying a lot of money to these things. Then you think. Now the relevance, the R, it is yours. You don't set a goal for your neighbor. You don't set a goal for your kids. If it has to be yours, it has to be yours. In my bakery business, in my hardware business. Then the time bound. When you don't put a time, it means I can find you, Brian, like in 2040, and I'm like, did you buy that Benz? And you're like, I'm still because you said in 10 years time.
Yeah.
It is not specific. You said in 10 years time. So that 10 years time could actually start from 2040. It's until you say in 10 years you put a year.
By 2020,
exactly.
I must have this.
Exactly. And we don't write goals down because we think it's simple. If you've read What Self-Made Millionaires Know, Think, and Do, it's a book by Barry Opitman and Charles Berryman. They're management consultants from the United Kingdom. They say that whoever created human being must have had the greatest sense of humor. Because how do you put a man who wants to have more, be more, and do more, and then in there you put all the things to disorganize this, because human beings, we are naturally lazy. We don't forgive. We don't make records. We don't ask. There are things we don't do. There are things we do that prevent the others.
Right.
So we don't write these goals because we are lazy. As in, a guy wakes up and says, I want to be rich. I want to be rich, and I'll be rich. You will see me rich. I'll surprise you by being rich. So that's what happens.
Even him, he surprises himself.
Exactly.
If you're just joining us, Newton Buteraba here, who is from Enterprise Uganda, is joining us on the show to talk about the habits of successful entrepreneurs. If you are one, this is an opportunity for you to learn something. And you know, some of us know these things, but we need to be reminded about some of these things. Entrepreneurship is at the heart of every politician in today, and of course Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Kenya was addressing some of these issues. Now, Newton was also a trainer during Kickstart Season 1. Let's take a look at some of the people he trained and what they say. Take a look at this.
When you go and buy tomatoes, you do not go and ask for youth or a woman or a mutes or a black-skinned person. You just go and buy a solution. Now, if that's the sector you are entering a sector which is unforgiving.
So, ladies and gentlemen, whether or not you are picked today, keep your head up, be encouraged, and know that your fight is not going to end today. It will continue.
And we have to be very honest, because this is an opportunity, and if it's an opportunity, we up the stakes of competition. When I hear somebody saying, for example, I will be involved in aquaculture, that's raising fish. I will be doing agroforestry opening acres of land for trees. I will be involved in beekeeping, hives, and getting those beehives colonized. I will be involved in dairy farming, entering Mulwana's sector. These are too many ideas. I see rawness and innocence, naivety. I like my head. The hair is not much, but I want a good person to attend to it. If you are first rushing to try and see whether you can wash a car, then come back and see whether you can attend to my head, I could as well say, please leave it.
That is Charles Ochichi, Executive Director of Enterprise Uganda and also CEO of Nice House of Plastics. Newton, you have trained thousands of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Last week you couldn't be on the show because you are training more people.
Exactly.
One of the things that I read about entrepreneurs that they're encouraged not to be angry.
Yeah.
But when you have people on your team who have the ability to annoy you instantly, what do you do about that?
You need to realize how we move in this world. I'm going to use a research by the greatest scientist of all time, who happens to be actually my namesake, Sir Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton brought to the world something called friction.
Yeah.
Now, if you know how friction works, this is how it works. When you're walking forward, the ground you're stepping on has to be pulling you back for you to be able to walk forward. What does that mean? If you stepped on a peel for a banana, the peel for the banana can't pull you back. That's why you slide on it.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
So if they poured oil on the floor and you stepped on oil, you have to slide and fall because the oil releases the tension on the ground such that the ground can't pull you back. Now, all successful entrepreneurs, they know, we know, you know, that it's only when they are pulling you down to bring you back that you can move forward.
Yeah.
You get the idea. So when you come in the setting and people are just pissing you off, successful entrepreneurs just smile to it. They're like, yeah, at least there are no peels of bananas which will make me just slide.
Right.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
And if you've listened to Henry Ford, he's one of the greatest guys who ever blessed this planet Earth. Henry Ford said, if any two people are running a business, and both of them are always in agreement, then one of them is not necessary. You get
Because one of them knows what to do.
As in, why
It's never enough.
Exactly. Why do I say, let's put this here and you say yes? Let's put this here and you say yes. Let's now expand the company, you say yes. Let's hire more employees, you say yes. Then you're not necessary. The idea is you have to be saying, but we can't open up another branch, boss.
We are not yet ready.
Exactly. So when you come into a setting, just know that people are going to be pulling you back. But that pulling, you have to just be smiling to it. You just look for a cup of tea, get water, just be drinking and smiling. Because also the negative forces are the ones to sprout you to go to the front.
I once read somewhere where they're saying that not all of us are born entrepreneurs.
All right.
How true is that? That there are people who thrive working for other people.
Okay.
Is that true? That, you know, like some of us will shine with supervision, but we cannot manage our own business.
Yeah, what happens is, I'm going to refer to the kind of research people use, but what you need to realize is there are 10 habits which we train at Enterprise Uganda to help successful entrepreneurs. And by the way, these 10 habits we train, it's a franchise we got from the United Nations. So we are the only people in this whole entire region of East Africa having a training, we administer on behalf of the United Nations. But what happens is, these 10 habits of successful entrepreneurs, you just uplift them. You might be lucky that your dad found a woman who happens to be your mother, and that mother of yours has very great genes to be having an aptitude with numbers.
Yeah.
So when you go to school, you're a great mathematician.
Yeah.
But then you might be a great mathematician, which is going to come and help you in business by just reading through a deal and moving forward. But now, there are habits like information seeking, which is the second habit I'm going to talk about. Information seeking is when the entrepreneur tries to consult. You see? So it is a habit you need. If your mother gave you the genes to be a very good mathematician and you don't have the habit of information seeking, then you can't take calculated risks. Are we together? Right. Now, if also you've been in a setting where your mindset has been seeing people who try something, fail, and give up, and go into something, you've given your mindset the whole habit that you won't persist. Are you getting it? So entrepreneurship can actually be developed, and those key skills which you are born with can be just given a push. Nice. But when we introduce you to some of these things, you will actually notice that some other skills can be developed and you grow them. There's some people who are naturally shy, but when they go into lessons of self-confidence, where they come to a coach like me and I tell them, but you man, you have this great skill, and they start feeding into that energy of people telling them that they are great. They lift up their habit of self-confidence. And what that means is they are going to be able to do marketing and sales. They're going to negotiate contracts and win them. You see, so it is possible that you could be in a setting where entrepreneurship is not there, and in your mindset, you don't do it. But it can be developed by reading books, by talking to people, by watching this show.
Right. Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Hit us with another habit.
Another habit. Successful entrepreneurs always persist. Persistence is the ability to struggle and stay doing. I want to give you an example. One of the greatest men to ever bless this earth was called Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was an American. And if you knew about Andrew Carnegie, he came from Scotland. They were poor. They actually had to borrow money to get to US. That's how bad it was. He was a Scottish poor bloke. He entered the US and he started dealing into steel. Now, if you know about geography and you've seen America, you see River Mississippi. It starts, the River Mississippi is in between St. Louis and Chicago, Illinois. Now, they had always wanted to build a bridge to connect those two. And because in the 1800s, people were using iron. And if you've done some little physics, you know that the tensile strength of iron can't actually survive for long. So they used to use iron and build the bridge, but all the bridges used to fail. All the bridges used to fail, and people gave up on building the bridge over Mississippi. So this guy, Andrew Carnegie, he was the owner of the largest rail network in the whole entire world, and it was in the United States. Now, what he did, he persisted. He was like, it was a habit in him. He said, successful entrepreneurs, we don't give up.
Yeah, we just have to.
He looked for a guy who knew about these metal things. And he asked him, how can we harness the strength of iron? And that's when they realized that when they added carbon to iron, they could get steel.
Tougher.
It becomes tougher. That's why we have steel. Everywhere you see steel, that's where it came from. So he built steel over River Mississippi. But people still feared, and they were like, bridges have been falling, because it was a combined bridge. If you have internet, you could go and read about Eads Bridge, because the design of the bridge was called Eads. So it was combined. It had where the train would pass and where these pedestrians and maybe cars would pass. But the idea is, when they built it, people feared to use the bridge. Now, Andrew Carnegie, because he was an entrepreneur who doesn't give up, there was no way he would have spent all that money, and then they don't use the bridge. You know what he did? He brought an elephant. All over the United States, they know that the feeling was in their head that an elephant has an instinct. If you've noticed, it doesn't take the next step if it notices instinctively that the next step is not stable. So he did a demonstration, and they moved with an elephant over the whole entire bridge. Now, you know what happened? By the time they reached the other side, people were now moving this side. You get? So successful entrepreneurs know that in between you and success, there are these negative forces which are going to be pulling, and they're trying to test how many times can you get up. How many times? That's what they want to know. How many times can you get up? That's why you see, I've been checking every day, what I read is the list of the richest people. But the 5 richest people in the whole entire world, when you combine their wealth, they haven't reached Andrew Carnegie's wealth. And he died 90 years ago.
Wow.
The 5 richest people in the whole entire world now, when you get Bill Gates, when you get Slim Helu, when you get Lawrence Ellison, when you get Warren Buffett, when you add the amount, they haven't even reached John D. Rockefeller. He died 78 years ago. Now, these guys were out of their mind. They could do things differently. So all we need to know as Ugandans, as Africans, that you don't have to be white. You don't have to be white actually to make it. You don't have to be having born from a very rich family, because I've told you, Andrew Carnegie, they borrowed money to go to US. Too poor. John D. Rockefeller, the richest man ever. The dad was a con artist. No money in the family, but because they persisted. But persistence can only exist if you set a goal. Setting a goal can only exist if you visualized. Like, I want that ML class. So you see yourself in your dream, then you drive it in your dream, then you smile.
I visualize myself in the, you know, the cross-country, and I'm thinking, the traffic officer can't even stop me even if I don't have a permit.
Then you smile. You make sure you smile. You make sure you smile as you visualize.
Yes.
Now you set a goal. Now you don't want to give up on that. That's why you can persist. But when you don't write a goal, you can't persist. They'll tell you, here you can't do this, and you give up that easily because you didn't visualize yourself. I could give you another example of Richard Branson. He was
Virgin Airlines.
Exactly. Richard Branson started with music. He didn't start with Virgin Airlines.
Yes.
He started with music.
Virgin Records.
Exactly. And there was a very great musician called Mike Oldfield. Mike Oldfield had a song called Tubular Bells. Now, Richard Branson had signed Mike Oldfield. Now, he set up the whole entire concert called Tubular Bells. Like you see here, if Eddie Kenzo were to set up a concert, he would call it City Alos. Now, the City Alos of that side in the UK, it was called Tubular Bells. Now, he set up the whole concert. Posters, you know what is involved in a concert. You know equipment, tickets, everything, advertisements. And now on the very last day, Mike Oldfield says, I'm not stepping on that stage. You know what would have happened? These other service providers were going to sue Richard Branson. His name was at stake. He was losing money all through. But because successful entrepreneurs visualize and smile about what they want, set a goal about the kind of money they want, they always persist. They just don't give up. He just went to the parking lot, drove his Bentley, and brought it and got out the keys and gave Mike Oldfield. If I gave you these keys, would you change your mind?
Wow.
The guy grabbed the keys, he went to the stage, and Richard Branson made money. Are you getting it? Sacrifice for a Bentley, but the money he made, he could buy like 20 Bentleys.
Wow.
You see, so successful entrepreneurs act in face of a challenge. You're going to start up something, and the forces I talked about are going to pull you.
This is powerful.
Will you act, or will you go and sleep? I usually tell friends, never ask God for money. Do you know why? Because God gave us everything. Everything. What would you do, Brian, if you send your kid to school with pocket money, but no sooner have they reached than they call you and they say, Dad, pocket money.
Just tell him where he...
You gave him the... Actually, you gave the kid the pocket money.
I gave you the money.
Yeah, so imagine what we are blessed with. A mind that can think a billion ways. Everything we need. Aren't we on WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook? All those are using waves which were created long time ago.
Yeah.
You see, I'm a professional in security, and I can tell you that the security we are using was created 500 years ago. The mathematics we're using.
That's something that I'm going to call you back and
we'll
talk about.
We'll talk about security.
I'm fast spent on time.
Yeah.
Newton, I will call you again and we continue, talking about these habits of successful entrepreneurs. I must say, sometimes when I invite these guys, I feel like, oh, they have to talk to you. But now, this morning you've talked to me. Richard Branson, absolutely a very good example of that. I was privileged to meet the CEO of Mara Group, and he dropped out of school at 15, and now he is one of the leading CEOs in Africa.
Wow.
And now he's into the banking, world. He has started a bank with one of the leading brands in Africa. Very interesting man there. And the stuff that you can borrow from these guys is absolutely a wealth of experience. Newton from Enterprise Uganda this morning, will definitely invite him to talk more about this. Unfortunately, that's the time we had for you on Everyday Life, powered by ICEA and StarTimes Uganda. We'll catch you tomorrow. Aisha is coming up with all the latest in the world of sports. Stay with us.